Hello everybody, welcome back to BareRose Garage here. Let's talk about Ford again. The oddity nasty of Ford. I know all you Ford guys are going, huh? I know. You heard me say it in my other video. Ford, you have to know your stuff. Of all the other brands out there, Ford changed their mind, they changed their design, they changed everything all the frickin' time. You know, you've heard me complain about this all the time, and you know, the running joke around is another one of Ford's brilliant ideas. Well, it's because they had so many design changes and so many parts do not interchange. I mean, if you have one combination, that is specific for that combination. I mean, how many bell housings, bolt patterns did Ford have? All of them. Let's just say that, all of them, because every year almost they had multiple bolt patterns for the bell housings, making transmission swapping a nightmare with Ford. And it goes all the way down the line to engine combinations, everything. Even in stock form. And I got a prime example here. Now, you heard me refer back in my other video on the Ford RVs. They fell into that gray area, so they didn't have to deal with roadside emissions, you know, all of that stuff, because they're a recreational vehicle. They're not intended to be full-time road use. So they got away with a lot of stuff. Well, here's where the oddities start, when you start playing with a motorhome Ford. The block on this thing is a 71 casting. The heads on this thing are a 73 casting. The intake manifold is a 76 casting. So when that motorhome, and that motorhome is a 77, I have checked the VIN so many times and the title to make sure so many times it is a 77. In fact, it's a late 77, so it was almost a 78. I think it was April when that motorhome was made, so it was just about, for those of you who don't know, June is when they start the next model year. So in 77 they were building 78s if it was made after June. That's when they released the new model and blah blah blah. Now, why is this coming up so mismatched? I mean, to look at it, your brain says, oh my God, what'd they do? Just dig around the junk pile and find a old 71 block laying around, and this is made in 73. It's not made in 73. It was cast in 73, and they kept that casting going for multiple years. So you'll run into D3 heads, which stands for 73. That's when they started making them. You'll find them all the way up, I believe it's into the 80s. I didn't get the information when they quit running them heads, but you run into that with Ford. The numbers on the block doesn't mean when it was made. It means when this design was cast. You run into the same thing on Chevrolet. They didn't advertise it. They just have numbers that don't correspond with a year. So it takes the confusion out. And with Chevy, it don't frickin' matter because they didn't change. Well, very small changes that didn't matter because everything fit everything. So, you know, if you had a set of 78 heads on a 1962 or 66 350, it didn't matter. They fit. Everything fit. As long as I had a 4-inch bore, you could stick those heads on whatever small block you wanted to stick it on. it didn't change anything. The bolt patterns didn't change. You know, they all swapped around. So Chevy guys, that's the key of being a Chevy guy. You have so many parts to choose from because everything will bolt on from a wide range of years. I mean, even big block, small block, they share parts. So, you know, you have a wide open availability of parts that you can swap around. That's why, honestly, I play with a lot of Chevys because of that. And because there's such a wide range, it makes the parts cheaper and easier to get. And Chevy's just easy, all around easy because of that. Now Ford, on the other hand, even more so than Mopar, you have to know exactly what you got because they change the frickin' mind all the time. And nothing matches anything else. This is a 385 big block series. They actually have 3 different deck heights with the 420, 429, 460. Actually, these things actually go all the way up to 521, but you'll only find them in the big industrial trucks like F550s, X650s, the gas-powered ones. You'll run into those. But for performance, they're dogs. They're built totally for torque. You spin them over 3,000 RPM, they just fall on their nose. They're made for big, huge box trucks and, you know, stuff like that. 10-wheelers, gas-powered 10-wheelers. You know, they're truck engines, big truck engines, not made to go down the road at 80 mile an hour. They're made to roll out of a field and get the harvest to the cellar. So they run down the road at like 45, 50 mile an hour if you're lucky, fully loaded. Lots of torque, not lots of horsepower. Anyway, they change. Like I said, there's 3 different deck heights on the 385. Jeff over at Two Hacks Garage, he's doing a big long series of this because he's a Mopar man who just got into the big block Ford, and he's building a 69 Thunderbird, and he's stroking it out, he's putting a ton around. I mean, it's a beautiful build. Go check his channel out. You'll really like him. But he's learning Ford for the first time, and he's saying what everybody else is saying. Another one of Ford's wonderful ideas, because yep, every piece and every part has got to fit every piece and every part. You can't mismatch with Ford. You have to know what you got. So I go into the auto parts store and I say, okay, I got a 1977 E350 Chateau motorhome. I need a gasket set for it. Back in the day, they used to have a book that was about this thick, full of Ford only. Why? Because of that specific stuff. They would open it up and they would cross-reference everything and every year, and then they would find the exact engine gasket set that you needed for your application. Nowadays, you know, O'Reilly's, AutoZone, all these chains, you know, they rely on the computer. They don't have the books anymore. And since Ford is the only one that does it like this, it got lost in the mix. So if you're playing with Ford, you have to know the casting dates, not the year of make, the casting dates of everything you're dealing with. This came out of a 77, but it's a 71 casting block, 73 casting heads, 76 casting intake manifold. All of that has to jive with whatever the hell I just ordered. I have no idea now if that's right because of what Terry said on my comment there. He took one look at these heads and said, you got fuel injection heads. It dawned on me right there. That's when the oh shit happened for me, because I already ordered the parts. And it's, these gasket kits ain't cheap no more. I don't know if I got the right one again, because it's a frickin' Ford, not a Chevy, not a Mopar. They changed everything all the time, so there's a big chance I just ordered the wrong set. Even though I ordered it specifically for a 1977 Chateau with a 460, 7.4 liter, automatic. There's an extremely huge possibility that it's going to be wrong because of these casting numbers now. And Ford's wonderful idea to change everything all the frickin' time. So that's my little rant there on Ford again. Being a Ford man, you can do this. I own one. I can talk about it like this, and that's the reason I actually kind of like them. They're challenging. Fords will challenge the hell out of you because of all of this stuff. It's why you don't see a lot of them on the racetrack anymore, because they're so specific. And yeah, when we're talking castings here, CJ does not have anything to do with Jeep. I know back during the war, Ford did build Jeeps for Jeep. Back when it was Willys. Why? Because Willys was too small of a company, so Ford opened up their doors and started spitting them out too. Yes, Ford did build Jeeps during the war. After that, it was done. It went back, and then it went on to be AMC and everything else. Ford had no ties to them. What CJ stands for is dollar signs. Big dollar signs. It stands for Cobra jet. That is a completely different design. Even though it's a 460 or a 429, if you get the CJ, it's a completely different head, completely different intake design, and only the CJ stuff works with CJ. Then they take it a step further with the SCJ, Super Cobra jet. None of that stuff matches. You gotta have all the pieces in line, and it is expensive. The farther up you go, the more expensive it gets. Then you go over to Andy Wood and check out what a Boss is. Again, it is so far different that it's a Hemi-styled head, even though it's on a 429. Ford will blow your mind. All these parts, all this different designs, all this different stuff, and not one thing will match anything else. You gotta, yeah. And then when you fire up the Google machine, you see a great price on something out there, and you say, oh, I gotta have that for my Ford. You got a 50-50 shot if it's going to fit on your Ford, even though it says it's for the 1977 E350. Yeah, Fords are tough. They separate the men from the boys, because you got to know every single part number all the way down to the oil pan and the timing chain cover to make this intake work. So anybody out there playing with Ford for the first time, just be prepared, because the VIN number doesn't matter as much as you think it does. The casting numbers will confuse the crap out of you, because you'll think that, oh, this was made then, oh, this was made then, oh, this was made then, when actually these were made probably in 76. The casting numbers just started in 73 and 71. And everybody says, oh, get your Dove's heads. Find you a set of Dove heads. Dove, D-O-V. Actually, it's D0VE, 1970. That was pinnacle of Ford performance. You know, you go down to the Ford dealership, buy a brand new Ford. That was the ones that were the hot ones. But they don't stop there. It's DOVE dash blah, 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 whatever they put it in. Or the ones you actually really wanted were DOVE dash C. The C stands for Cleveland. Those ones actually interchange on a few of them, so you can luck out there. Or it said CJ, CJ Cobra jet. Things got crazy with Ford, and like I said, everything has to match everything else. So this is my video for today. Ford sucks. That's why I do them, because they keep you on your damn toes all the damn time. Anyway, that's my video. I'm going to get back on it, slug this out, finish tearing it down, and then, like I said, I'm going to pull the mock-up motor, pull the intake off of it, and show you the differences between the exact same castings. In the meantime, get out there, and if you want to do an easy hot rod, stick with Chevy. I know it sounds like blasphemy, might not be your favorite looking cars, but if you're trying to do this on a budget, Chevy is the way to go, all the way, hands down, because everything will fit everything else. You don't have to worry about misordering parts. With a Ford, you're guaranteed to have a shelf clear full of parts, brand new, in the box, because you ordered them wrong. And it's too much of a pain in the butt to send them back now, because they want to charge you shipping again and restocking fees and all that other bull crap that goes along with it now, because no auto parts store uses a damn book and knows what the has a guy sitting behind the counter that actually knows what the heck he's talking about. Those days are gone. We're in the days of ordering parts and hoping. Good luck out there. In the meantime, get out there and get some metal hot, and I'm going to go in there and cry about why I chose Ford.